Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Starscream with Demolition Destroyer Spark Armor from Transformers Cyberverse Power of the Spark. So this is another entry in the Battle class at the $14.99 price point. I found this at a local Target. Pretty neat. I think the gimmick is pretty cool. I've already reviewed Prowl, so take a look at that video if you haven't already. But yeah, I've been having fun with these and I'm really excited to get another one here. So not too much going on with the bottom of the packaging. Taking a look at the back, of course you have Starscream's robot mode, vehicle mode, and then you have the combination of the armor with this little bulldozer here, which is pretty cool. And then down here on the bottom you can also see Jetfire and Skybite are also available. Very excited to track those down and pick those up. Very excited for those two characters. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the packaging here. Let's go ahead and get them out of there and we'll take a closer look. Here is Starscream with the Demolition Destroyer Spark Armor. It's basically just a bulldozer. I don't really know what makes it a Demolition Destroyer, but it's a neat little guy. Very yellow. The shovel can move up and down, which is pretty cool. Put him off to the side for a moment. So we can take a look at this Starscream figure. I actually really like the robot mode. He's just got nice proportions. He's got a nice heft to him. I like his design, I guess, for lack of a better term. I don't know. There's just something about the little robot mode that speaks to me. It's very cool. Head sculpt, pretty decent. Let's get close in there. Nicely painted head, the kind of crest on his head, and then the red eyes. Everything else is molded out of the light gray. Red for his kind of pectorals and belt area. Nicely painted. Then you have the cockpit painted on there. The actual cockpit hangs off the back here. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then the purple on the wings looks good. I don't know, just kind of a stocky, but also... Nah, it's not really stocky. I don't know how to describe it. I like the look. I think he looks really good in robot mode. Here is Prowl. So you can see that they're pretty much the same size. So that's cool. I like that. Oh yeah, very, very neat. Articulation-wise, head does not move. You kind of have like a pop down of the shoulder, but that's for the transformation. Otherwise, you just have a ball joint here. You have 90 degrees in the elbow. Nothing in the wrist. He does kind of have waist articulation, but it's really just for the transformation, so I think it only turns the one way. But he's got a ball joint in the hip, so he can kick forward. See, he's got a knee joint there, out to the side. He's got more backward motion than Prowl does, but... And then you can fold the toe down. Again, it's for the transformation, but if for some reason that kind of articulation knocks your socks off, then go for it. The only thing is on the back, you have this kind of fuselage area that just kind of hangs back here, and it's always moving. It looks like it has a little peg hole there and a peg, but it really doesn't stay pegged in. But he's got all these giant ports on the back, so if you wanted to connect various things, you've got all those connection points there, which is really neat. So yeah, I really like the little robot mode quite a bit. But let's go ahead, we'll bring in the Spark Armor. So when you're disassembling this guy, very simple. These just kind of pop right off. You can see they just kind of loosely tab under here and here. So pop those off. This whole section just kind of sits on there. You can see that there's this bar, and that just kind of sits in this recessed area. It stays on pretty well. Whoops, leave that up. But it just sits on there. So you can lift that up. Then you have this section here, which we're going to drop in. You can go ahead and pull this part out just like we did on Prowl's. That will peg into the shoulders. And it's pretty snug, I gotta be honest. It's a little difficult to get them out of there too. Then you're gonna drop this down, and you can see that there's a little tab here on the front that's gonna pop into that little spot right there. And then this just lifts off. Now unfortunately this just hangs back here. On the card it looks like you can get it lower, but I really don't know how. Like Prowl had another joint here where that could come down farther, but he doesn't have that. So he's got a bucket hanging off the back of his shoulders. Once again, you really can't see the head of the robot mode underneath because it's pretty sunken back. but it looks kind of neat. These pieces are actually pretty cool the way they attach. You can see that there is a little slit right there, and that's so that the wings can pop through. So you feed the wing, or the side wing, fin, whatever you want to call it, through that, and then you just peg it in with this giant peg in the peg hole. So slide that through and attach that. It just kind of gives him extra leg bulk. I don't know. He's got it though. And then this thing just attaches with that peg underneath into his fist. You can still move the shovel around. It's not the best weapon. It's not the best spark armor, but it's alright. I like the yellow with the gray and the purple. I think those colors work really well together. So for that, I enjoy it. Just kind of having these on the legs is a little boring, but if you want, because they're all the same pegs, you could peg it onto his forearms and pretend it's like a melee weapon or kind of a chainsaw arm or something like that. So if you prefer that look, nothing's stopping you from doing it. And that's kind of nice. It's a nice level of customization. And I kind of like this gimmick's play pattern where, you know, the ports are all just the same. So you want to give them those kind of crazy melee weapon arms, you can do that. If for some reason you wanted to peg these onto the back, just because you like the look of it, you could do that. So I like the level of playability there. I think this gimmick is going to be a lot of fun for that reason, that there's not just one set way to connect. Obviously the directions show you a way, but you know, if you can come up with something else, go for it. It's kind of like the weaponizers from Siege. You can just kind of take the pieces off and put them wherever you want to stick them, and it's really neat. I wanted to show off real quick that you can mix and match the armors. I don't think they work very well, at least swapping these two, but you can do it. Now, obviously, the connections to the chest are different, so like it just hangs there, but you can pop it on. The one thing I would say, be very careful, because the connections here for the Starscream one are really tight when you're kind of putting them in Prowl, so he doesn't peg down all the way, so don't force it because you don't want to, you know, bust that up. But you can go ahead and switch all these things. I actually kind of was playing around with this. Go ahead and take this off if I can. That's my only complaint with these is getting the shoulder pegs out is a little difficult. So if I put this back on here, I kind of like this combination. And that's the other cool thing. Like I said, because the ports are all the same, you can mix and match everything. So I kind of like that because I really like the blue wings from Prowl's armor with Starscream. And then you can kind of give him those treads on the feet if you like. I think that's kind of a cool look. So I don't think this looks that great on Starscream, and I don't think this looks that great on Prowl. Let's just go ahead and put this one back on here. Let's see how this looks. I don't know why the connection for this one is so tight. I wish they wouldn't make it so tight. There we go. So that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. I think that kind of works. You can mix and match the pieces. The connection ports are all the same, so I think that's a really cool play feature, and it should add for a lot of fun. Alright, so Starscream still has a vehicle mode we need to get to, and I do want to point out, I'm already starting to get a little bit of stress marks around the connection point on his leg, and that's just from connecting this, which is absolutely supposed to peg in here. That is 100% where that's supposed to go. But it's already, I mean, I don't think it's going to break or anything, but you can see the stress marks already, so just be a little wary with that, but hopefully it should be alright. But anyway, getting back to the transformation, you're going to go ahead, peg the legs together. You can flip down the toes, and they're a little tight. Then you're going to rotate the waist 180 degrees like so. Come down here. Lift this a little forward so that you can drop this back like so. And that just kind of, it doesn't really hook into the legs. It just kind of rests there. And then you're going to drop the shoulders down like I showed earlier, and you can see that there are these slot tabs right here, and then the slot tab hole I just showed you. So peg those in. They peg together very snugly, and then you just kind of rotate this back and it just kind of drops down. So there is the vehicle mode. I don't know what it is about Cyberverse. They can't get Starscream's vehicle mode right. This is the same problem the Warrior class figure had, and I didn't show you a comparison with the Warrior class Starscream because I never bought it. Everything I've seen about that figure makes it look like garbage. This one I think is better, but I feel like the wings are just too close to the front. I feel like the wings should be like here. That should be kind of the back of the wing, so they should just be able to fold back a little bit. Or maybe if there was some way to like fold these in a little bit just to make it a little bit shorter. But unfortunately there's not. They just kind of sit there. The fins back here should be taller in my opinion. I think that also throws it off. Just the wings are just a little too close to the front of the jet. And honestly, there's no red in this mode, so he looks more like Skywarp than he does Starscream. So yeah, I don't know. Not a huge fan of the vehicle mode. Oh, he does have a little flip out landing gear, and the other two are molded into the back of his legs, so he can sit. In this mode, you really can't attach the armor like you can with Prowl. I mean, you could put these here if you wanted to. If you wanted to give him like crazy tread guns. But I think that just kind of looks goofy. But you could do it. But because his shoulder connections are hidden, because they're under here, you can't connect the armor in that way. Also, you can really just kind of see... you just see the robot mode just chilling out there. So, yeah, not a huge fan of the vehicle mode for this guy. Sorry to say. So, Starscream. I have mixed feelings about him. I actually really like the robot mode. I think it looks good. The proportions are nice. The colors are there. Decent articulation. I actually really like the robot mode quite a bit. Again, be careful with the connection ports. Just, you know, don't stress the plastic if you can help it. I've had it go in several times fine, and then just one or two times I had to force it. It's weird. Again, just be safe. But I really do like the robot mode. The vehicle mode, not so much. I'm really not a huge fan of the vehicle mode. The little bulldozer armor is okay. I like the look of the bulldozer in this mode, and I like that the shovel can move up and down. The armor connection with Starscream is okay. I don't think it's as successful as Prowl's, but it's decent. And I do really like the colors. The yellow with the gray and the purple, I think, works really well, so I applaud them for that. I just don't think the shovel works as a weapon accessory. And just kind of putting the treads on the side of the legs I don't really see how that's armor as much. But I mean, he does have the chest armor, which I think looks neat. So, he's okay. I definitely think out of the two, Prowl is more successful. Pretty much all around. His vehicle mode is great. His armor is great. So if you're on a budget and you have to pick between the two, I would definitely go for Prowl over Starscream. Not to say that Starscream is terrible, but he's just not my favorite. I think his biggest drawback is the vehicle mode. It's not the worst, but it's certainly not great. But I do really like the robot mode, so I don't know. If you pick him up, I think there's fun to be had. I definitely don't think you'll regret it. But I would probably buy the other three before I buy him if you're on a budget. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.